Hello friends, so let's dive back to our Bitcoin price analysis today and what we can see. So as we know that Bitcoin price is moving up and the upward trend is continuing, and we wanted to see some pullback so that it remains sustainable in the longer term, but it seems that Bitcoin is going to continue this upward trend as the Bitcoin supply seems to be very low and more people are being interested in buying Bitcoin. So if we look at what's happening in Google Trend, so if we just search by the Google Trend, as you can see that the number of the index here shows that it's reaching to another high. So we see these dot points here, all these dots here. That's in January 2021, which apparently shows that people's interest is increasing. And if we search with buy Bitcoin, so the assumption is people who will search with buy Bitcoin most likely are new users who are interested in buying Bitcoin who currently does not hold any Bitcoin. So even in that search result, we see the interest over time is increasing. And we can also take a look at what's happening in crypto greed, fear and greed index. So we can see that apparently, possibly it's FOMO, meaning like maybe a lot of people are buying Bitcoin thinking that they are missing out. So now let's go back to the chart and see what we can find here. So this is an hourly chart that we can see, and in hourly chart, this upward trend, which started all the way back in November 2020, if we look here from September 20 up until October 20, almost this 1 month period, Bitcoin was back in 10,808. And then Bitcoin started this upward trend that is still continuing. And this trend is parabolic, as we can see. So this is the upward trend. And we can probably also draw a path like this, right? So to show the parabolic movement we're seeing here. Right. And this parabolic trend, how long it will sustain, we still don't know. We know that it cannot continue to go up forever. That means we should be seeing a correction. But is that true? Because Bitcoin may be surprising everybody. Maybe Bitcoin, in Bitcoin's case, because the supply of Bitcoin is not manipulated, Bitcoin follows this algorithm of generating fixed amount of Bitcoin every 10 minutes on average. And on top of that, if the interest goes up as we saw, and on top of that, if Bitcoin, people who are holding Bitcoin are not willing to sell because they think that over time Bitcoin's interest in buying Bitcoin is going to go up, we may see that Bitcoin's price will continue to go up, and it doesn't have to correct immediately. And it can be evident also looking at the weekly chart. So if we look at the weekly chart on Bitstamp and over longer time in 2012 up until now, so we have seen three or four bull markets. One is here, another one is back in 2013. We have seen 600, 726% or almost 1000% gain. Then also another one in 2016 and up until the beginning of 2018, and that was a 4000% gain that you can see. Now what we are expecting that possibly this region that in November or October 2020 last year where we were is exactly the same place if we go back in 2016. So what we can do is if we take a bar chart here and we follow this bar pattern, and if we just bring it over here, possibly this time we may see a rise like this. Even if it is half of it, we are expecting a price target of above $100,000. So if we see that here, we see $80,000. If we move down here, $130,000. So, and if you go to Twitter and if you search with Plan B, you will get to know eventually, for example, Bitcoin NGO technology, he basically shows the similar logarithmic pattern and he colors this dots, as you can see, yellow, green, then blue, red, orange, yellow. So this is the transition phase. So as you can see, blue and sky blue sort of like this capitulation phase, and then in red it's getting hot, and then gradually it becomes orange and then yellow, and then it starts coming down. So as we can see, according to that model, we are most likely at this hot phase where we are seeing these red dots, and possibly we can see another rise like that I just showed. Okay, now that is a longer term Bitcoin price prediction. What we can tell in terms of shorter term. Let's look at the 15-minute candles for last few days, let's say from 2021. So from the beginning of 2021, as we can see that we have seen some upward trend, then we have experienced this drawback, pullback or correction of almost 17%, or if I draw it from a little far up from the top, that is about 20% correction. And maybe we can think, as Bitcoin has this upward trend and so much interest, this much correction was probably enough for Bitcoin to continue this upward movement. We can also see some patterns here, like Bitcoin is going up, then we can see there's a phase of capitulation like this, and then again Bitcoin is going upwards, then again Bitcoin is capitulating a little bit, and then Bitcoin is again going upwards. So every time, this is like it's creating a new step. It's creating a new step, and then as a stepwise function, it's going upwards continuously. So how long it's going to continue to go up? For that, we need to take a look at some major support and resistance levels. Okay, so what are some major support and resistance levels? For that, we can take a look at the Fibonacci retracement tool. So using the Fibonacci retracement tool in 1 hour candle, what I can do, for example, Um, let's take a look at the 4-hour candle, and if I take the top of this candle and I take the bottom of this candle, that shows me some major support and resistance. According to this line that I have drawn, as we can see that Bitcoin already crossed the top line given by the Fibonacci retracement. But as you can see, this line here, the 3.618, that was acting as the resistance back in December 20. Now let's say we do the similar thing here again. So I take this top line here and I take this bottom line, and I see again this line as a small resistance, or this area, and then I can see this line as a resistance, and then every line has broken through, and then Bitcoin also has passed this line. And currently, as you can see, that is in 4th January, this line acted as our support. That means from this line Bitcoin price has bounced back. Now let's do it again. So if we take this line here and I draw another Fibonacci retracement like this, so which means our next target possibly is going to be this $39,037, $39,700. And if Bitcoin breaks this, possibly 46,000, and if Bitcoin breaks this, possibly 53,000. Now we can also go back a little behind, little more bigger time frame, and look at the entire market. Get out of the logarithmic chart, and then maybe we can try to draw another Fibonacci retracement tool, which is for I am taking the top of the candle in December 17, when Bitcoin was at its highest in the bull run at that time, and the bottom in the bear market in January. That also gives me some significant lines. So I take 29,573, that is one level, and then I get also 62,457, and then I also get 72,755. So on a longer term, because this Fibonacci retracement that I have just drawn, this support and level gives the bigger macro trend, macro support and resistance, and on the other hand, the smaller ones that I drew earlier gives for the shorter term. So now if we go back in 4-hourly time frame, now we have bunch of support and resistance lines that we can look up to for our next targets. So the next target, immediate target, is possibly going to be 38,000, about 39,000 or 40,000 level, and then 46,000 level. And then possibly we can see in week or months terms that Bitcoin may reach to $50,000. So this is what we know based on the Fibonacci retracement, which uses the idea of Fibonacci sequences and all the mathematical discoveries that we learned from Fibonacci series. And on the other hand, what are some support? Let's say if there's some major major pullback happens. So let's say instead of thinking that Bitcoin will go up, if Bitcoin, let's say, goes up to 39,000 and then there's a huge pullback happens from here. So in that case, we can think that this 28,279, or this line that I draw, 29,784, or 28,333, or 24,893 will act as our resistance, which if happens will be a perfect time to buy Bitcoin. So this is that line, 29,000, then maybe this line, let's say if that line gets broken, it comes down to 28,279. If this line gets broken, then it comes down to 25,000, and if that line gets broken, it comes down to 20,000. So my personal belief is that Bitcoin will possibly, it happened in Bitcoin's history that Bitcoin has drawn back up until 80%, but that was the black swan event, the COVID event. My bearish case scenario is probably Bitcoin will go down to 45% and may come down to 20,000, which I still, if I look at the chart, I still don't see that's happening, as I can see that Bitcoin is most likely going up than going down. But if you want to be careful and if you want to think about that, okay, how far Bitcoin may come down, I think Bitcoin is possibly come down to 20,000, but it will never go below 20,000. That's just my prediction. So these are some longer term for swing trading options. So if you're looking for these swings, and for shorter term, can we take a look what's happening in 1 hour? So for that, I would take a look at this Ichimoku strategy, and I can see a pattern in 1 hour. So for Ichimoku strategy, you can just go to the indicators and search with Ichimoku strategy, and you will get this one, and that will nicely draw this. So in Ichimoku, there's couple lines that you can see. One is this candle itself, which has open, high, low, close value, and then you see this cloud which is formed by this green line and this red line, and then you also have this green line. So this green line almost looks like parallel to this price candles that we have, and as you can see, when Bitcoin price is going up, this green line is far away from these candles. For example, even now as Bitcoin price is going up from 5th January, which is yesterday, and this green curve is far away. See, when Bitcoin price starts moving down, like there's this huge 7% down, how this green line starts to come close to the candles. So as long as this green line is far away from the candle, you can think that maybe Bitcoin price is still going up. On the other hand, when Bitcoin is possibly going downwards, for example, in this scenario, you see Bitcoin price is possibly going downwards, you will see that green line is far away from the candle, but as you can see, the green line will be below the candles. On the other hand, in the bullish case, when Bitcoin price is going up, this green line will be above those candles. That is one thing that is telling me that right now Bitcoin is still keeping its positive upward trend. Another thing that you can see here, this cloud being formed by this green line and red line, typically on 1 hour candle, you can see that The red clouds are on a bullish trend, meaning like in this bull market that Bitcoin is currently. These red cloud zones are typically smaller than the green cloud zone. So one strategy that you can take is that if you have an account with TradingView and you know how to put the Ichimoku strategy on the Bitcoin USD, so you just see when the green cloud form and you buy there, and then when the red cloud forms you sell it there. So when the green cloud forms you buy there, when the red cloud forms you sell there. And you can see right now we can see another green cloud is being formed, which means possibly you should buy here, and I will make a next video where my prediction is correct or not. We can see in the last case, if you would have bought here, you would make a 16% gain. On the other hand, let's say you buy here, if you can make another 10 to 16% gain, which if you put $10,000, you would make $1,400. If it $1,400 to $1,600 based upon when you sell it. So this can be a good strategy to do this short-term trade. But as I said, this is for 1 hour candle where this pattern is nicely working out, as we can see. On the other hand, the complete opposite case is here. So when we have a downward trend, we see that the red cloud is bigger than the green cloud. So trend is our friend. So as long as this trend is there, if you want to do short-term trading, you can follow this strategy that I just mentioned. Okay, that is for today, and I would make more analysis video for our to see how Bitcoin price action is moving. So this is another website that I follow, Glassnode Insights. So far what I showed is we can see in historical price actions, but sometimes price is influenced by the external factors. So for those external factors, you need to look at some on-chain analysis data that you can, if you create an account with studioglassnode.com, you would be able to see those, like how many new addresses are being created, how many addresses are active. And they actually make these inside posts where they show what's happening in the market from their website. So there's some significant news they are showing here. So basically they're saying that for the bulls, as BTC's price continues to rise, widespread retail interest in Bitcoin is increasing. So retail interest is increasing, which basically means we are possibly gonna see the same sort of movement that we saw back in 2017. So how do we know it? The number of addresses holding a non-zero amount of Bitcoin reaching an all-time high of over 33 million. How do we know it? By looking at this chart. This chart is number of addresses with a non-zero balance. So as you can see, this is the line. The orange line shows the number of addresses with a non-zero balance. On the other hand, this is the price line, I believe in logarithmic chart. And as you can see, the number of addresses with a non-zero balance is at all-time high, and in 2021. So next, they also show number of new addresses. Number of new addresses, as you can see, it fell below in 2018, and it was below this line, and now it is going up again. And then a bullish comment from Willy Woo. What does it say? Woo's take in the long range exchange inventory structure points to a good year ahead. So what's happening in terms of how much Bitcoin is liquid, how much Bitcoin is in the inventory. So as we can see, he basically predicted, look at here, back in 2017, he said this is a reaccumulation phase, and this is exactly when the retail buying begins. And then we see this huge upward movement of price. And he's basically suggesting here, as you can see, like how this downward sloping movement, you follow this arrow here, and we can see that we follow this arrow here. So what is on our y-axis here? What causes inventory to increase in latter stages of the bull market? So we can see a downward slope here, and possibly we would see a retail buying is beginning. So inventory depletion on spot exchanges has stopped, signifying the reaccumulation phase of the macro cycle is likely complete. The chart below marks when we are in overall macro cycle through the lens of a spot inventory. So inventory depletion on spot exchanges. So if you make an account here, you would be able to see it. And then we are also looking, if we look at Ethereum's bull run has started also. Ethereum already reached $1,000 and possibly it's going to 1400, its all-time high. So again, this one, Ethereum market value to realized value ratio, we can see. And Bitcoin's liquidity crisis continues, meaning like more people are holding Bitcoin, and we cannot see highly, as you can see, if you look at this chart, the highly liquid supply is going down. The liquid supply is also going down. On the other hand, illiquid supply is probably going up. So the liquid supply going down typically pushes the price up. So you can take a look at more in detail, and you can read this. And finally, you can also follow these Glassnode alerts that I am introducing today. So as you can see on Glassnode, they just posted that 20,000 Ethereum moved in-house by Gemini, which means that maybe more people will buy this Ethereum. That's why Gemini is bringing this Ethereum so that people can buy them. So you can also see that more coins, 2000 Ethereum deposited to Binance from unknown wallet. Most likely someone in this case possibly is going to sell it. This can be the case also, that possibly a lot of people are bringing this Ethereum because when Ethereum reaches all-time high, they want to sell it, which means that may drive the Ethereum's price high. We will see what happens. So that is all for today, and I will come back with more updates, more news, more price actions, more in-depth analysis. Thank you very much. Have a good day.